Ed Reed got his suspension reduced yesterday. No suspension. No missing game check. $50,000 fine. So you go from a $420,000 plus fine and suspended a game down to no suspension of $50,000. I call that a win for Ed Reed. I call that a win.
You know what? And you should call that a win. Because I think, now if you just came up to me and I didn't know anything about this and you told me Ed Reed got fined $50,000, I'd be like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But then when you actually sit there and realize how much he's saving, you're like, oh, well, no, I don't feel bad for him. That's awesome for him. He's saving more money than I have made in my entire lifetime in just this one overturned suspension. Instead of $420,000, he's spending $370,000 less and only being fined $50,000. Now, I watched the highlight of the hit. I can't count how many times. It is not a brutal hit. It is not a hit, in my opinion, that deserves any type of, fine or suspension or anything like that. It just isn't. I really don't. I don't get it. I just don't. It makes no sense to me. So why, they overturn the suspension. They drop it down to $50,000. Let me ask you something, though. As a football player, what do you think Ed Reed cared more about? Did Ed Reed care more about the money or missing a game in a playoff race towards the end of the year?
Ed Reed, I think, cared more about the suspension, honestly.
Like not being able to play and try and help his defense.
Although, I don't know, $420,000 is a lot of money to anybody. Even rich people. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It is. And you know what? I honestly don't think that he held one higher than the other. You know what I mean?
They were pretty equal?
I think both meant a lot to him. Because let's be serious, Ed Reed's made enough money that $420,000 is not going to ruin his life. But $420,000 still does help. It still does something for him. It's a check that he planned on getting, kind of thing. You know what I mean? He based his life on the game checks 16 weeks out of the year, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I really do think, though, when you look at the hit, it's just ridiculous that it's even a conversation. It is. Antonio Brown jumps up, screams, excited for a first down. So the hit to his head didn't hurt him or bother him. Ed Reed got up, nothing wrong. So the hit didn't hurt or bother him. So where's our reasoning for really doing what you're doing? I understand the consistency factor to it, but neither guy got hurt. It wasn't a vicious hit. It wasn't a hit with intention of trying to hurt Brown or Sanders. I think it was Emmanuel Sanders he hit. It was a hit trying to get the guy to the ground so he couldn't run after making a catch. It was only helmet to helmet because when Emmanuel Sanders catches the ball and turns, he lowers his head. So why even go after Ed Reed? Do you think it's fair? Do you think they should have did it?
No. I mean, but they say the reason they gave him that and the reason that they tried to go the suspension route and all, it's because he's had three years in a row of helmet-to-helmet hits like this. The thing is that he has most of his penalties for it have come against the quarterback. Him rushing the quarterback. So that's why they actually knocked the suspension down this time and only made it a $50,000 fine, because he's not known to do this to defenseless receivers. And that's kind of what happened in this situation. So being that was out of character for what he's shown in the past, that's the reason they lowered the suspension.
I mean, they still get $50,000 out of the guy. But